All right, everyone, how's it going? Hope you had a great fantasy week. I went 14 and 5. Not the best week, but I'll take it. Let's start by making yourself a drink, raise a glass to all the things that we got right. Let's start into it. Gotta take a victory lap. Zach Moss. Told you about it weeks ago that he is the player you want for Indianapolis. I hope you listened to us because he definitely helped you win your fantasy league this past week if you started Zach Moss. Other things we got right: the skill position on the Packers are a group that's on the way up. So please, if you haven't yet and they're available, look at snatching up those Packers players. Finally, we got Puka right for the waiver wire pickup. He's looking like he's going to be the real deal. We also got the Bucks and Washington Commanders defense correct. Now, just like how we said the things we got right, got to own it when we have some things wrong. Definitely got the Packers defense wrong. Looked good through 3 quarters, and wheels fell off, and I apologize if you listened to them and started them and they only got you 2 points. Hurt me as well. I definitely listened to my own advice. Thought that against Atlanta they would have done a little bit better. So it was a mistake. Same thing with the Lions defense. That was also another mistake to have started. So I apologize for those. In the beginning of the season, defenses are a little bit harder to kind of know how they're going to be for the season. But, it's one of those things where we try to work it out, do the best we can for you. And now, if you haven't yet, again, sit back, enjoy. We'll do the homework for you. Make yourself a drink and watch the Degenerate Gambling Life.
You think we need one more? You think we need one more? All right, we'll get one more.
What's up, guys? My name is Jacob Blastowski with the Degenerate Gambling Life, and on this episode I'm going to be talking about waiver wire pickups. I really like Matthew Stafford. If you're looking for a quarterback, he's looked good in the first 2 weeks with the Rams, and he looks like he can be a serviceable QB2 for you and a guy that you can lean on when the bye weeks start hitting. I think he's a good depth piece to stash, and that Rams offense is looking pretty good this season, a lot better than we expected. Moving on to wide receivers, I like Josh Reynolds, who's available in 87% of leagues still. He's seen 13 targets in the first 2 games, and he's coming off a 2-score game in week 2, in which he saw 5 catches and an 80% snap share. He's playing in a good passing offense with the Lions, and I think he'll keep putting up solid numbers going forward, so go get him this week. Robert Woods is available in 91% of leagues, and he has seen 19 targets in his first 2 games for the Texans. He looks like a top option in their offense, and I think that's a passing offense that looks a little bit more dynamic than we thought. And he looks like a player you're going to want to be adding in PPR formats. Tank Dell, I think, is another good option in the Texans offense, who's currently available in 83% of leagues. And he is going to keep getting more and more opportunity in that Texans offense. He's an explosive rookie, and they're going to want to keep getting him involved. And he seems to be developing a connection with C.J. Stroud. He had 10 targets in week 2 and a touchdown, and that looks like a good player to add. Moving on to running back, after the devastating injury to Nick Chubb, it looks like we're going to have to go find the Browns' backup running backs, and Jerome Ford is the guy that you're going to want. He's the number 1 player to add in fantasy this week and available in 83% of leagues. He had over 100 yards after Nick Chubb's gruesome injury. He isn't the same player as Chubb, but he is still an explosive player who can add some plays in the passing game, which gives him a boost in PPR formats. He'll be the Browns' main running back going forward, but he will cede some goal line work to Pierre Strong. The other running back I think you're going to want to take a look at this week is Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt isn't currently on a team, but I think it makes sense that the Browns might try to kick the tires on Kareem Hunt since he has familiarity in the offense, and they don't want to give up on the season, so they might want to add a depth piece in Kareem Hunt. Pierre Strong is someone you might want to pick up if they don't pick up Kareem Hunt, because he's going to see the goal line work, but right now, really focus on Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt. This week also, you want to avoid the fool's gold of Matt Breida. I know it's tempting to go after him because he's Saquon Barkley's backup, but we've seen this movie before. Matt Breida is an older running back whose best days are behind him. And I think you're going to be better served going after Ford. I think you're going to be better served going after Kareem Hunt or even Pierre Strong Jr. So stay away from Matt Breida. Another fool's gold out there on the waiver wires, Nelson Aguilar. Another guy where we've seen that movie before. He's good for a few big games a year, but his inconsistency is going to hurt you in fantasy, and I'd rather have the wide receivers I mentioned, or even a guy like Devontae Parker over Nelson Aguilar. And finally, for this segment, last call. This is your last chance to get these guys. And I think the first guy I'm calling for last call is Hunter Henry. He's been the tight end 2 overall. He's still available in a little less than 50% of leagues. And this is a guy that in the Patriots offense, he looks like he's getting comfortable with Mac Jones. He's getting a lot of opportunities, and he should keep getting touchdowns and targets. I like him a lot going forward. Again, sticking with the tight end position, last call on Zach Ertz, who continues to be a target machine, seeing 18 in the first 2 weeks. Get him while you still can. And lastly, Rashid Shaheed of the New Orleans Saints. He's looking good in that offense. He's got a good connection with Derek Carr. He had another solid game. And that's an explosive playmaker who is going to just keep getting better as the season goes on.
What's up, everyone? I'm Kevin Miller. We are the Degenerate Gambling Life, and this week I will be presenting the Studs and Duds of the Week.
Because I'm a stud. I'm ballsy. I don't take from anyone. I smoke my stogie anywhere I want. I don't have to find a hideout place like you.
At the quarterback position, we have Daniel Jones leading the way as the top stud. About halftime of that game, he was looking like he was going to be hitting the waiver wire, but he had a second half that no Giants quarterback has ever had before, with over 250 passing yards, 50 rushing yards, and a couple of touchdowns. I guess never been done before. Pretty cool. I'd hold on to Daniel Jones for now. 7 other quarterbacks were able to top 25 points, so you needed a high quarterback score this week to be competitive in your league. At the running back position, we had Brian Robinson leading the way with 29 points, followed closely by Saquon Barkley and Kyren Williams. Ouch on Saquon Barkley. At the wide receiver position, we have a couple of veterans, along with one newcomer leading the way, with Mike Evans, Puka Nacua, and Keenan Allen all topping 30 points this week. Good job to the old guys, and Puka Nacua looks like he might be the real deal, for fantasy at least. And at tight end, we have only one stud this week, TJ Hawkinson, with 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. The next best tight end was Hunter Henry with 15 points. So it looks like that elite tight end strategy might start to pay off as the season progresses. And now we will go over our duds of the week.
Loser. Hey, I've heard this call before. I'll bet you have.
At quarterback, our top dud is Trevor Lawrence in everyone's starting lineup and couldn't even top 10 points. Shame on you, Trevor. You better bounce back next week against Houston. At the running back position, we have Tyler Algier with only 4 points, and Dameon Pierce with only 5 points, and Travis Etienne with only 6 points. There were worse performances, but they may or may not have made it into your lineup. These guys were almost certainly in everyone's lineups this week. Breece Hall also 0 points. Dalvin Cook 0 points. The Jets stink. Even with Aaron Rodgers, I think they were going to stink. At the wide receiver position, we have a couple of Jaguars leading the list. Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones with 5 and 0 points respectively. What happened to the Jaguars this week? Oh my gosh. And at tight end, everyone's favorite tight end to hate, Kyle Pitts, with a puny 3 points. Drake London did get his, and Kyle Pitts was targeted 3 times in the end zone, but could not convert on those floppy passes from Ritter. Hopefully this doesn't become a trend, otherwise Kyle Pitts might hit the drop list in a few weeks in redraft.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
All right, let's get into a little fantasy baseball. It is Champions Week. All 3 of my teams made the championship. Hopefully yours did too. So again, a little bit of advice. If you don't know this yet, Starting on Wednesday, after your pitcher pitches, you want to drop them, look for some pitchers that have some good matchups, max out your ad drops so you can get those wins and strikeouts to take advantage of that easy stat. Here's a few players that hopefully can help you win your championship this year. So, we got Michael King, pitcher, New York Yankees. One of the few things that looked really, really well for them since he switched from being a reliever to a starter. He's available in 50% of leagues. So, if you need a starting pitcher, look at Michael King. Also, another starting pitcher, you have Jordan Wicks of the Chicago Cubs. He's looked pretty good, and so he's someone that can probably help you win your championship. He's also available in 50% of leagues. Finally, a batter for you to look at, outfielder Tyrone Taylor of the Milwaukee Brewers. He has a really favorable schedule for this coming week. So if you need to pick him up, he can definitely help you in steals and home runs. And he's available in 87% of your leagues. So hopefully those are some pickups you can do and some tips to help you win your fantasy baseball championship. Let's go. All right, now defenses to stream for week number 3. Hopefully I do a little bit better for you guys. I apologize about last week for those 2 mistakes, but we learn and we move on. Number 1 defense to pick up for streaming this week should be the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are available in a lot of leagues, so pick them up if you're needing to stream a defense. Next, the Browns. I missed them this past week, but if you're needing a defense, pick up the Browns. They also have a really good matchup. I'll also take this minute to shout out to Jacob and all the rest of Browns Nation out there. Sorry for not giving you the love. All right, you have the Ravens that you can stream this week. The Chiefs, I know normally not their defense, but they have a great matchup this week. So look at the Chiefs. They're playing the Bears, and so far, if you've started against the Bears, your defense has done very, very well.
As always, go Packers and the Bears.
And finally, if you're in a really big pinch, everything's picked up, keep rolling with Washington Commanders. I know that they're playing the Bills, but the Bills didn't look the best in that first game. So maybe last week's just a little bit of that revenge and they cooled down a little bit again. So if you're in a super pinch, maybe roll with those Washington Commanders and see if they can help you. And next we're going to debut our soccer. Jordan, take it away.
Here we go with the added minutes. I'm Jordan, and we're here to talk soccer, football, football-ski, whatever your flavor is. This is the world's game. Media darling Wrexham have continued their pursuit of another promotion in the English League system by dismantling Grimsby Town 3-0. Right now they're sitting at 4th at the time of this recording, but it's still a young season. We'll continue to keep tabs as this season progresses because who doesn't love Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney? With the international break over, the top European leagues are back in action. There's a bit of a possible international hangover for Bayern Munich as they drew 2-2 in a fantastic game with a scrappy Leverkusen side. We'll see if they can keep it together during the Oktoberfest celebrations this month happening in Germany. PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, fresh off of a summer facelift, which saw 2 of their biggest stars leave the club in Lionel Messi and Neymar, they've continued to play very average. They dropped their first game back 3-2 against Nice, despite the brace from superstar Kylian Mbappe. Can Mbappe power them back into the top 4? He should be able to, but they currently sit 5th. Serie A in Italy, always competitive. If you're a fan of a Milan team, you either had a fantastic weekend back or one to forget. Inter Milan thumped AC Milan in the Derby to capture their 5th win against the Rossoneri in this calendar year. With the win, the Nerazzurri keep their perfect 4 wins out of 4 games to stay atop Serie A, with Juventus in 2nd separating the Milan teams. Now, over to the Premier League and Manchester City. Reports just came out that discussions to extend midfield stalwart Kevin De Bruyne's contract have been put on hold. De Bruyne was injured in the season opener and is expected to be out until early 2024. But it's interesting seeing as a 32-year-old has been one of, if not the best midfielder in the Premier League over the past few years, helping City to win 5 of the last 6 Premier League trophies. Did the surgery not go well? Are City concerned with the player's age? Time will tell. I guess we'll just have to let this one unfold. That does it for this edition of the Added Minutes. I'm Jordan Tennis. See you next time to discuss the world's game.
This was a poker hand I played out of Shuffle 512 in Austin, Texas. I had ace-5 suited in the big blind. There were 2 limps. The small blind raised to 15 and I call, and all the limpers call. So the pot is 60 going to the flop, which comes Jack 5-5 rainbow with 1 heart. We hit trips. The small blind bets 10. I just called to not blow him out of there, trying to make it look like my hand is not as strong as it is. Maybe I'll have a jack, maybe I'll have a 5, maybe I'll have some kind of backdoor straight draw type of hand. Usually I won't, but he might think that. And then the other 2 players also call. Pot's now $100, and the turn is the king of hearts, bringing in the flush draw and bringing in the overcard to the jack. The small blind bets 30, so at this point I think that he has a strong hand, like at least 2 pair in the form of king jack or trip 5s, and I have nothing to do but raise, so I make it 100, thinking my opponent has a strong hand and that he will think that sometimes I'm bluffing here with a flush draw, which I will be bluffing here with a flush draw sometimes, so that's logical for him to think that. Yeah, the other 2 players fold and he calls, so the pot's 300 going to the river, which is the deuce of spades, which is a complete brick. And he does something a little unconventional here. He leads 75 into me, and I interpret this sizing to mean that he will never have a full house. He doesn't have me beat here. Almost never will have me beat here. And that he does have a solid hand that's going for value, but wants to name its price. But I can't let him do that, so I jam all in for 308, and he tanks for minutes, and I'm praying for a call, and finally he does flick at the call. He says I'm not good enough to fold here, and he shows trips as well, but with 5-4, so we have the higher kicker, and we scoop here the $916 pot. It was a very nice hand.
All right, let's talk a little bit of poker. Again, want to remind you of the importance of identifying different player types you're playing against in low stakes poker. It's really important. That's who we're trying to help you guys with, ourselves included. Always learning is for those low stakes, mainly 2-5 and lower. 1-2 is mainly what we've been playing our whole career. So really identify those poker player types, because it helps you identify how they're playing and kind of predict their ranges and what they might have. So for this hand, I'm playing 1-2 at WinStar. Villain is in the big blind. Everyone limps to me. I'm in middle position. I look down at King 9 of hearts. I raise, make it $13. The button calls, the big blind villain calls, and the earn gun +2 calls. We go to the flop. Flop comes King of clubs, Jack of diamonds, 6 of spades. Checks to me, and I c-bet for $23. The button folds. Now the old man coffee type is where I pegged him at. He really didn't mix it up too much. He decides he's going to raise and makes it $60. Earn gun +2 folds. Now I start talking a little bit. I know I'm mainly going fold, but I'm just trying to work it out. All right. And so I go through a few things. I know he doesn't have ace king. He would have raised pre-flop. I can rule out king jack because more than likely he's going to smooth call. So I kind of come to the conclusion with his check raise that he's got king queen. Definitely, very limited what he can have with that flop. And so I fold to him, says, yeah, it seems like king queen. And I show him my king, and he just gets this big smile, says great read, and he flips over and shows king queen of diamonds. And that's where it's important, starting to put the story together. I'm very big on that. I think anytime you're in a hand and someone does something you're not expecting, you got to start putting the hand together, making sure the story makes sense. Their player type comes in. Sometimes they might bluff you if they take advantage of their player type. A lot of times in lower stakes, they don't really do that too much, especially the old man coffee types. They're just very ABC players. But again, just knowing that poker type is just super important to do. So hopefully this helps you in future scenarios you're in. Next, I want to mention that we will be in Albuquerque, New Mexico, September 23rd, playing at 1 to 2 casinos there that have a poker room. If you can suggest whichever one's better, please comment about it. And we look forward to all you guys watching us in volume number 10. Please like, comment, subscribe, share if you want to. We're on Instagram, Threads, and we're on TikTok. Links are below. You can get more interaction with us daily, but please keep watching and share, and we look forward to you guys for Volume 10. Thank you.